What's going on, everybody? Sorry, I had a little bit of a delay getting in here tonight. I just kind of lost track of time. Just getting some stuff ready. I've got Lance coming into town. He'll be here tomorrow, and just been trying to get a few things ready around the house ahead of that. And it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a really good time. So, welcome on into 0 Hour Transformers Podcast, where I, your host, Extra Zero, trying to go over all the interesting Transformers news that comes up within the past week in about an hour or so. If you're new to the channel, welcome on in. And before we get started, if you wouldn't mind, if you like what I'm doing over here, smash that like button because it does help me out in the algorithm. If you're not already subscribed, hopefully tonight's the night I earn your subscription. And if you do subscribe, make sure you ring that notification bell because while Lance is in town, we will be shooting some videos. We did one over the weekend. On Saturday. If you haven't checked it out, we did a return to our tier ranking videos. We did Beast Wars from 1996 to 1997, and we're going to finish out the rest of Beast Wars while he's here. And we're also going to be going to one of my favorite toy shops, all-time toys, over in Frederick, Maryland. I actually think it's Sykesville, Maryland, but it's a pretty big toy shop. So we'll be doing a toy hunt video while we're doing that. I'll have that up on the channel. And then also we'll be doing the meetup hangout on Saturday. So if you are in the Pennsylvania, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and you're interested, we'll be hanging out at Bar Louie in White Marsh, Maryland from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. this Saturday. So going to be a good time. I don't know how big of a meetup it's going to be. I had to move the time around just because, I think I mentioned last week I had a death in the family, and my uncle's up from Florida, and we're doing a bit of a celebration of life for my aunt. But I couldn't cancel on Lance because he had locked in his plans to come up here. I think Saturday is also his birthday, so we're gonna be shuffling around. I'm gonna make it all work, and I'm gonna go spend some extra time with my uncle on Sunday after Lance leaves. So it'll all be good. And it's a long weekend too. We've got Labor Day here in the U.S., so thankfully I'll be off Friday through Monday. So it'll be a nice 4-day weekend. Hopefully we have a really good time. I think our plan is tomorrow we're going to go pick him up from the airport. We're going to go get some Korean barbecue, which will be fun. Then Friday we're going to go see Superman. I haven't seen Superman yet. We're going to go see Superman. Then we're going to go on a toy hunt, and then probably just hanging out. I hit up Junkie on Crafts and Builds earlier today, see if he's interested in hanging out, as well as Parts Former. And between that and the meetup, I think it's going to be a really fun weekend, and really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. Also, aside from that rambling, aside from shilling the meetup we've got going on, pop into that live chat. We've already got a bunch of people hanging out with us, and I love to interact with the chat throughout the course of the show. So if you're watching, don't be shy. I'll be reading your comments and making you part of the show as we go along here. So I guess we'll go ahead and we'll kick things off with some convention news, as I like to do. So we got some new guests announced for TFCon Chicago, and TFCon Chicago is right around the corner. I mean, it sounds crazy to say, considering the fact that we're still in August, but we're at the tail end of August. It's going to be September in a mere couple of days, if you can believe it. So they just announced that Bob Budiansky and Aaron Archer are going to be at TFCon Chicago at the end of October, so the 26th through the the 24th through the 26th. Now, Bob Budiansky needs no introduction. He formerly worked for Marvel as a writer, and he's one of the core developers of all the bios and the characters, as well as naming a lot of these characters that we all know and love today. And Aaron Archer is a very well-known toy designer. Aaron goes to most TFCons, but he's an awesome dude, very approachable. And if you are going to Chicago, I recommend going and meeting both of these gentlemen. Typically, with both of them, they're doing autographs. And in the case of Bob, he has a lot of reproduction Marvel covers to sign. I have the till all are gone, not till all are gone, the All Are Dead comic with Shockwave autographed by him in my basement walkway. And yes, I am still working on my collection tour video. Hopefully I have that up real soon. But the content with Lance will be up by the end of the weekend. I can promise you that one. So yeah, if you're going to TFCon Chicago, great opportunity. I do recommend meeting Bob and Aaron as well. Next up, we got Steel City Comic Con. Now, I have my tickets. This is December 5th through the 7th. That's a Friday through Sunday. I will be going with my wife on the 6th, and that's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And yes, you can get your autograph and photo ops ordered right now. So, lots of good guests. Especially if you're a Terminator fan. I mean, you got Linda Hamilton and Robert Patrick there. But, strictly talking Transformers, you've got Peter Cullen and Frank Welker there doing both autographs and photo ops. I was going to get just the photograph with Peter, but after talking to Deluxe and Junkion Crafts and Builds and my wife about it, I'm like, if I don't get the package with Peter and Frank, I will probably regret it looking back. So I splurged and got the Peter Cullen and Frank Welker package deal, and I'm debating I may still do the autograph for Peter. I may still do the autograph for Peter just to get him one-on-one. But yeah, if you're going to Steel City, hurry up and buy your photo ops. What they're doing is they're selling 8x10, so you will get a professional print while you're there at the event. So it's not a, hey, get the picture and download it from our website. You'll get an actual 8x10 print, which is pretty cool. You should for what they're charging. I paid $195 for the two of them, but really just kind of a, with both of these guys getting up there in age, I definitely was like, I'd love to meet Frank again. I definitely want to meet Peter. It's probably my last and only chance to get a picture with them together, and I know I'd kick myself. And for my birthday, my wife got me this really nice framed autograph print from both of them signed, and I'm like, you know what, I should get that and then hang the picture with the four of us above it, because I think that would just be a really nice way to tie it out. So looking forward to getting a picture with myself, my wife, Peter Cullen, and Frank Welker. I think that's going to be really, really cool. And I will I'm curious if I'm not cosplaying, but I'm curious if she's going to end up wearing her Eeyore, she has an Eeyore onesie she likes to wear, so I'm curious if she'll wear that Steel City. But yeah, and if you are going to Steel City, let me know. I'd love to meet up with you. I think it would be awesome to see some people there. If you're going to be there, don't be shy. Let me know, and just give me a hug, handshake, high five, whatever. It would be awesome to meet anybody who's there in person. Now, as far as other Transformers convention related stuff, this is just a rumor right now, but this comes from Troy Collects, and TFW also posted this. I'm not too familiar with Troy Collects. It's a smaller account, but there is a rumor floating around that PulseCon is going to be canceled moving forward. So this account on their X writes, also, this is a big one, no PulseCon. The teams will be traveling to in-person events to do reveals opposed to doing things at PulseCon. Hasbro 1027 is also up in the air. More details to come. NYCC, LUCA Comic and Gaming, and others will have reveals. I honestly, I don't think too many people would be upset, considering that PulseCon's been a virtual thing. It's going to be interesting to see how they do this moving forward, especially since there is a PulseCon exclusive, that being the Nemesis Prime for Armada. I can see them just releasing it to release it. But yeah, I really think people wouldn't care. I mean, obviously in the comments there, people were talking, cost cuttings and this, that, and the other. I think that they make a bigger impact going to things like SDCC and NYCC. I think also too the fact that they just do their events when they're ready. I think rather than having a structured event or building up the PulseCon, maybe just having like one of the Hasbro events where they just, hey, we're ready to show this stuff off. And even if they're showing prototypes and renders ahead of leaks, I think that it might work out. I don't really think that this is something that has much to do with costs or cost cutting, considering that they have done these Pulse events on YouTube many times, and maybe they're just like, yeah, what's the point of blowing our wad with PulseCon? But yeah, just a rumor for now, but I do find it to be kind of plausible. And next up in entertainment news, we got our next episode of Cyberworld. This time we get another villain revealed. We get Starscream. If you haven't watched it yet, it's actually a pretty decent episode. I think this is getting better as it goes along. This was a fun episode. I like the addition of Mirage to the Autobots. I like how the roster is slowly building. Again, my biggest gripe with this show is, one, I think the theme song is terrible, but two, I just wish these episodes were a bit longer, a little bit more drawn out. But if you're following Cyberworld, and again, it's kind of easy given how brief these episodes are, go check out episode 6 over on the Transformers official YouTube channel. All right, I know I did things a little bit out of order, but we'll go ahead. We'll knock out Figure of the Week, and then we'll go ahead and say hi to chat. So without further ado, here is this week's. And this week's Figure of the Week is a relatively new release, and you'll probably be surprised because I don't really talk about them too much, but I have covered this figure, and that is X-Transbot's Ballistic, their take on a Masterpiece scale Misfire. And the reviews for this guy are kind of coming out now. It's an interesting one. I like this figure a lot. I don't love it, and I'll get into why. I'm not going to transform it on camera here because, well, the transformation isn't the worst. It's also kind of not the best either. So, one of the highlights of him is that he does come with Aimless, and Aimless is made mostly out of diecast. Now, as you see here, I have Aimless attached via his wrist, which he did in the Japanese cartoon. There is a handle on Aimless, and there's a slot rail system, and you think, oh, well, obviously this is going to connect like a Fans Hobby figure would. No, it does not. So let me get his hand open here. And this one doesn't bother me the most because, again, I kind of go with the Japanese continuity for my displays when it comes to, a lot of the season 3 and 4 characters, because they really didn't have a presence. But yeah, the best way you can get him to hold his Target Master like a gun is just loosely in his hand. And since Aimless is made out of die-cast, you're really not going to get too good of a grip here. So you're going to get like that, and yeah, it will fall out. Now, Target Master, pretty well done. Like I said, made out of die-cast. Easy transformation. X-Transbots has done plenty of Target Masters. But just being made out of die-cast is kind of, it's nice, but again, it makes it, nothing on him is like super loose, but still, there's a little bit of extra weight, and when you're putting it in there, it'll drop. And then as you can see here, the barrel, because it's solid die-cast on mine, I got to take a little bit of Kiki and fix that a little bit, because it just kind of has like what you'd call those like swooping points. There's nothing in here that just kind of keeps the barrel of the gun up and stable. Like a little jostling causes it to flip down. So again, like, I wish that they were smarter about how they use the diecast. Some of them, while he's toleranced mostly well, on mine, the waist is a little loose. And you do have to be careful because these pieces, they kind of over-engineered these fins. They're on very thin diecast struts. And there's just some spots in the transformation where I think they have too many tabs and too many panels. It's not the worst transformation, but it's like one of those ones where maybe you might know what I'm talking about, where you just kind of have to put it in your lap and just kind of like squeeze everything together. It's not one that's like really great to do, but I mean, looks wise, this guy's awesome. Like, they did use diecast in a lot of meaningful parts. The chest, the paint on him is nice. It's that kind of metallic pearlescent look that Fans Toys does. He does clean up exceptionally nice. There's some good sculpt work in here. Like, I love how the thrusters hide away in the knees. The articulation is great. I mean, we got big bend on those knees there. We got nice bend on the elbows here. We got a really good ab crunch, and it doesn't even really break the sculpt at all. You know, the hands, they're like Takara Tomy hands, and you know, the wrists can move. You know, and like the nature of the way the wrists are in there, you can kind of get like a point on them. The head can look up a good deal, can look down. Oh, yeah, not really down too much. You can kind of break the sculpt a little bit and get a good fair bit down, and combine that with the ab crunch. Like, I step in something. But you know, I think this is a good effort. I think X Transpots gets picked on a lot as well. Also too, really good butterfly joints on this guy. Really, really good butterfly joints. I think that they're really close, and this kind of reminds me of like when they did the Runabout and Runamuck, and I think when they did their I want to say it was Runabout was the first one, and yeah, Aquatechi's in the ratchets down strong. Yeah, the ratchets on this guy are pretty good. It's just like I said, that waist, and the waist is an easy fix. It's on a slider, and again, I just got to take a dab of Kiki and put that in there, and. Or floor polish, the floor polish, same thing here. Just a little dab will fix it. But you shouldn't have to fix that stuff. In fairness, though, I think X Transpots does get a bad rap. And I think this is a really good effort from them. I wish that there were spots of it that weren't over-engineered. I wish there were some better tolerance pieces on here. But overall, I think this is a really good effort, and I want to see them do more like this, and I want to see them polish their stuff a bit more, and I think that would go a really long way. So I say all that to say this: like, if you're looking to collect some masterpiece scale Target Masters, the price on this guy isn't bad. The quality overall is pretty good. I think most people that get Fans Toys, they don't really transform them all that much. So if you just want him to have the shelf presence, you're going to get it. And to be honest, like I said, I have said the transformation is a bit over-engineered, but it's not super hard. And if you know what you're doing, it's not bad at all. So that's why X Transpots Ballistic is my figure of the week. And even though he's not the most impressive thing, I do think he looks great and he fits the part. And I am quite enjoying him. Even though I have gripes, I just think it's kind of interesting, though, because like when it comes to Fans Toys, people will have gripes, people will have things that break. But they just know, it's Fans Toys, the brand, its reputation. And I think X Transpots, if they try, and I think they tried here, they can achieve greatness. So don't miss out on that one. Let's catch up with chat, and we'll get into this week's news. We'll talk about an elephant in the room item, because, yes, I'm going to kick things off, not with Transformers news, but the Minumus Exception expiring and what that means for the hobby. So to kick things off, we got my dude Princeton Phalanx coming in saying hello. Always good to see you, Princeton. And we've got Tris saying, what the F is that title? Well, you're going to find out what that title is. I don't even like Imagine Dragons, but you'll find out. We got Mario Roca coming in saying, what up, Extra Zero? I'm doing very well, Mario. I hope you are having a good night, my friend. We got Princeton back saying T-0, I guess, when I was late, and also insinuating it was going to blow up. We've got Aquatechi coming in saying greetings to Extra Zero in the chat. Good to see you, Aqua. Hope you're having a good night, my friend. And Mario is saying that he'd like to go to TFCon, but doesn't know if he can afford it. I'm not going to Chicago this year, but I'm hoping that at the end of Chicago they announce a more local one, because it's going to need to be more local for me to go, and I'll explain more of that in the coming weeks. Not moving or anything, but yeah. Nakwa saying it would be nice to get news from Hasbro that hasn't already been leaked. And I think that's probably why, like that way they can do it more on demand. And yeah, definitely Cyber World really isn't for everyone, but again, it's low attention span stuff for me. I can just put on the 5-minute episode, like when I just need to kill 5 minutes in between a meeting. Like I'm letting the dog out. I'm just going to put dogs out. And I'm going to put Cyberworld on while they're doing their business. It's kind of funny to say, like, yeah, I put Cyberworld on because typically that's how long it takes my dogs to poop, so I can watch an episode. But it's the truth. And we got John Graham. If you've ever seen Arby and the Chief, John's a buddy of mine. We do some collabs over on Gronking on Dogs or Gronking Gaming. And he says, "Sup, Extra, just saying hi. I used to love playing with Transformers. I very much enjoy all your memeing. Hope you get your channel modded." I hope so too. I'd love to get my channel up to 500 by the end of the year, if possible. If not, no biggie. But I'd love for Restream to pay for itself. That's my goal. I don't really want to make much or anything here. I just want to be able to make the Restream pay for itself. That would be nice. Yeah, T-Man coming in saying, "There is no try, only do." Okay. Well, now I'm going to picture T as Master Yoda. So there's a mental image I'm not going to be able to get out of my head. Now I'm going to have to meme that. All right. So elephant in the room time. We got to talk about the de minimis exception. So you're going to be hearing rumblings about this, especially in the collecting space. And again, I do not like getting political on this channel, and I try not to. But, it's kind of hard considering that, so much of our ability to be in this hobby is impacted by global and economic conditions. So we're going to start off with an article from the Associated Press. And this came out just today. And we've known this was coming, but we were hoping that there would be something to change it, or they would reevaluate it. But they say the U.S. tariff exception for small orders ends Friday. It's a big deal to some shoppers and businesses, and I would argue it's going to be a big deal, especially to small businesses. So if you don't know what the de minimis exception was, it was a duty-free status for certain thresholds of packages. Especially, I think really just foreign goods. So let's see, really they go into the history here. In the U.S., the de minimis, Latin for lacking significance or importance, exception started in 1938 as a way to save the federal government the time and expense of collecting duties on imported goods with a retail value of $1 or less. U.S. lawmakers eventually increased the eligibility cutoff to $5 in 1990 and $200 in 1993 and to $800 in 2015, according to the Congressional Research Service. Since then, the number of shipments claiming de minimis treatment have exploded. A total of 1.36 billion packages with a combined value of $64.6 billion reached the U.S. last year, compared to 134 million packages set under the exception in 2015, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency reported. So I think the government's seeing this as a way that they can make money. However, when you look at how this is going to impact individual items, this comes from Japan Post, and I would argue that Japan Post is going to be a fairly unbiased organization here. But they sent out a letter in English, kind of breaking down how this is going to impact them in particular. And I'm going to read this in full, because what they're doing in retaliation is they are suspending acceptance of mail to the United States due to these changes. And I believe Australia and a couple other countries are doing so as well. So their letter states, on July 30th, 2025, the U.S. government issued an executive order titled Termination of De Minimis Treatment for All Countries regarding mail to the United States. Under this executive order, starting August 29th, 2025, mail containing goods imported for personal use, quote, or in parentheses, taxable mail, will no longer be eligible for duty-free treatment, and tariffs will be imposed. On August 15th, 2025, U.S. Customs and Border Protection announced new guidelines regarding the elimination of de minimis rules, which require the transport operators pay customs deposits of CBP and prepare customs declarations. The procedures that transport operators and postal operators in each country must follow to comply with these the procedures that transport operators and postal operators in each country must follow to comply with these guidelines are not clear. However, making implementation difficult. Therefore, starting August 27th, which is Wednesday, today, with other national postal operators, we will temporarily suspend the acceptance of postal items, small packets, parcels, EMS goods to the United States that contain the following items: individual gifts with a with content value exceeding $100, goods intended for sale for consumption. In addition, we will continue to accept letters, postcards, printed matter, EMS documents, and postal items, small packets, parcels, and EMS goods containing gifts between individuals with a value of less than $100. As an alternative to the above suspension of successions, our international courier service, UGX, can handle shipments in compliance with U.S. customs regulations. They give a link to UGX, which I'm not familiar with. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause and appreciate your understanding. So that's a lot to unpack. What do I think is going to happen with this? I think that you're going to see these countries suspend business, and it's not going to be what they expect from the executive order. I think with the executive order, they're thinking that, oh, hey, people are getting cheap goods from overseas. And that is a case in a lot of cases. But, the United States has conditioned itself to, ship a lot of its manufacturing of goods overseas. And there is a big import market, and there are a lot of small businesses, not just in this hobby, but you have, people that do automotive and tools and other hobbies and crafting and culinary shops. And this is really going to impact small businesses because, corporations like Walmart and Target and, other big e-tailers like Amazon are going to get special exceptions made. And I think this whole situation stinks. And again, I don't want to get into the politics of it because, I don't do that here. But I find it incredibly frustrating. And I think its implementation is very half-cocked. And I don't think that I think it's not good for our hobby. But I also worry about some of the small businesses, places like BBTS and Agavis and Toy Dojo, places that sell us Takara Tomy figures that you can only get from Japan. I don't know what's going to happen with, Chinese retailers. Again, I ordered a figure directly from China today, and there was no issue with the shipping for that. So I don't know how China's getting around. I mean, another thing too, you could see is some of these sites could say, hey, just like when you buy something over PayPal, you can do a friends and family transaction. If they claim that the value is less than $100, even though it's not, and you basically toss your insurance out the window, I mean, that's a way of doing it. I think. I don't know if there's any loopholes around it because I haven't seen any. But I just think that I think that this is not very well thought out. I think it's going to do harm to small business, and I think it's going to do a lot of harm to businesses overseas that have done business with U.S. customers. And as a result, they're going to lose business, and then they're going to have to pass their costs along to us, which is unfortunate. I really, really wish that when it came to decisions that were being made, they looked at what was in place and what the ramifications are and could be, instead of just making these knee-jerk decisions. I do think this is going to get reversed. I think that, like with the Chinese tariffs, you're going to see, them eventually say, oh, yeah, no, we see what economic damage this is causing. But then you're also going to see the retailers not lowering their costs back to what they were because, one, they've lost money over this, and two, they're going to be like, hey, we need to maximize our profits in case something like this happens again. So I think that this whole situation is just going to cause more economic uncertainty. I think that it's half-cocked. It would be a different story if we actually had the means of production in this country, in the United States, but we don't. So, I'm kind of getting really tired with the people that are pulling these strings on the trade war because they just don't seem to have they really don't seem to know what they're doing. I don't think this is going to kill the hobby, and I don't know what's really going on with the way China is doing business. Again, this doesn't seem to be impacting China. However, again, for being a masterpiece completionist, I think this might throw a wrench in some of my gears with collecting MPG. Now, hopefully, I am a Pulse Premium member. Hopefully, with Pulse Premium, you know, I'll be able to curb a little bit of that, and I can just wait to get my figures. You know, I can wait an extra few months to get Road Hauler. You know, I can wait an extra couple months to get Rat Trap if need be, but hopefully that they change course. I'm going to do a little bit more research into like what UGX is, because again, if you go back to that, you know, that Japanese post with you know, Japan post, they go in to say a little bit about what UGX is. UGX is an international small lot delivery service provided in affiliation with leading foreign distribution operators. There's a lot of PR speaking here, but it doesn't really state what ship times are like, what, you know, what kind of charges to expect. It just says customs duties can be paid both upon shipping or delivery, so a COD sort of situation. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of charges there are in association with this. And like I said, I hope that this doesn't cause Takara Tomy to raise their prices, and it probably will. Japan's a fairly small country. It's basically the size of a state in the U.S. when it comes down to it. And, you know, their markets are small. They probably do a ton of business with the European and Western markets, you know. So this is just going to be like one of those things to wait and see. But I'm not very hopeful in the short term about this. And I'm hoping that it doesn't cause them to raise their prices, but I do believe it will probably, like the other tariff situations, turn around. I just find this whole situation to be incredibly frustrating, and I wish that there were people in charge that knew what they were doing. And I'll leave it at that. So let's move into some official Transformers news. We got a bit to talk about. And first up, the fan vote. So this was updated as of yesterday. We're now on the activate your alt mode fan vote for choosing an alt mode for Shockwave. So I initially thought, oh, hey, if we're going to get a C, we'll probably get Hearts of Steel Shockwave. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case. Our choices are a hoverboat, a submarine, a speedboat, or a creature. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm wagering maybe people will vote for a creature. That might be pretty cool. So really, who knows what the designers are going to cook up with that. I think it would be pretty cool to do like Shockwave as a shark. You know, I like to think back of like, you know, think back to like, you know, the Cyber Shark design, and the front of the hammerhead came off. Actually, a hammerhead shark would be a pretty cool design for Shockwave. If they do a submarine, it'll be a really big cop-out, because, you know, they'll just take the laser pistol design and turn it upside down. Because that's literally what they did for Siege. But, yeah, for me, my vote would either be between a creature or a speedboat. If it's a hoverboat, we would just get a sea spray repaint. Let's just be real about it. Let's just be real about it. But I think a creature, actually, like, honestly, like a hammerhead shark or like maybe a squid would be a cool design for Shockwave. Like a big one-eyed squid would be awesome. But there you go. By next week, we will know. But then, you know, whatever we get, if it's a creature, we won't know exactly what sort of sea creature he would be until they show us. Now, next up, you saw the title. We got a unexpected reveal from Takara Tomy for Wild King. And this is a new character, which it's a new character, but it's kind of like an homage. And this is for Wild King. It's Dragunus and the Dragnite soldiers. So see if we can get these, zoom in on these pictures. This is a brand new character, and it's an interesting one because it's kind of like an homage between Gigatron from Transformers 2000, or, you know, he was Megatron in Car Robots, and the Transmetal Dragon Megatron. I mean, there's kind of hints of Beast Wars 2 Galvatron in here as well. So this is a cool design, I think. You know, you get like a dragon mode. You have these kind of army builder dragon characters you can get. So what's really cool is that you can actually, you know, when it comes to like Optimus and Megatron, the combinations work just for the robot mode. But here you can actually use the dragon soldiers. You can see you take their wings off and armor up the wings. You can make an even larger dragon. And not only that, but components of Dragunus can actually combine with the larger Prime and Megatron core robots. So you can make even bigger robots. So this looks like a really cool play pattern here. And then here you can see, you know, you can see more of the, you know, the troop builders that he has. I don't know if he's just meant to do, you know, 2 of them, or if you can do, it looks like you can do up to 4 here, especially if you're combining them up with like Megatron. But yeah, this looks pretty cool, pretty fun. Now again, I'm not going to get any Wild King stuff, just because, especially too, if they're going to be upping these import prices. But I think this is pretty creative. I think too, it would be cool if they brought this line out over here. Maybe they eventually will. Only thing, you know, I can say I don't like about this line is the lack of ankle tilt. But still, it's cool to see this line finally get an original character, and especially one that, you know, really does something different and unique and has a very different play pattern to it. So you can see here in 1 and 2, there's this standard alt mode and standard robot mode. And then in 5 and 6, you can see here he is combined up with the, you know, in the dragon mode and the bot mode. And then 8, 9, and 10, you can see different options for combining them. So again, like, cool play pattern on these, and also neat to see a new character. Next up, we got this teased early in the week, and now we get a color picture, but a partial reveal. And if you saw the thumbnail, we are getting a Missing Link Ultra Magnus. That's right, we're getting a articulated Ultra Magnus. I know that they're teasing the full image here. It looks like we're going to get it pretty soon. There's a date here for September 5th. So just this partial tease for now. I think everybody's kind of curious how exactly the legs on this guy are going to work in his combined mode. But we're probably also just going to get the standard Missing Link Prime as the core, and then, you know, the trailer. I mean, definitely going to get that. So we now know Missing Link Magnus is our next one. And I guess with the rumors, we probably can say we're going to get a Missing Link Grimlock after this, if the rumors are to be believed. We're also getting more Dramatic Capture series, and I don't think this one's going to sell very well, but we're getting the Dramatic Capture Skywarp. So Takara Tomi's completing the Seekers, as well as a set of the Insecticons. Now, if you're looking for more toon-colored Insecticons, I would hold out, because there's a listing for Studio Series 86. We're going to be getting at least a 3-pack of toon-colored Insecticons. So, yeah, I really don't see the set selling well at all with the new Seeker mold on the horizon. And if you want the Insecticons, just wait, because we're going to get them domestically. And that'll definitely be far less expensive than this set. And also, too, I think the Studio Series decos have been really on the money lately. Next up, this comes from ex-user Tato Toho, or Tato, I believe. And this user got the 40th anniversary Lio convoy in hand, just showing off some of the pictures. So, yeah, if you're in Japan, this is hitting pretty soon, if not now. And as you can see here, the deco on it, the lion's mane is actually yellow. There's metallic blue on there, a lot more silver. You can see the lower abs are picked out a bit better. And you can see the lion mode. Yeah, I know some people don't like the anime lion look, but it is cartoon accurate. And you can definitely see they did a lot more tooling on that mane than it initially appeared to have. So, yeah, I think this looks pretty good. I did pre-order one, especially since it was $40. I hope BBTS still honors that price. But yeah, you know, you can also see that they picked out the teeth and the inside of the mouth on the anime lion head. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting this guy in hand hopefully soon, and hopefully BBTS still honors that price. Next up, a little silly one. These are hitting Walmarts apparently, and there's a dancing Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, and Megatron for whatever reason. But these dance with lights and sounds. They're $15, and that's That's what they do. They sing a really bad rendition of the Transformers theme song. But hey, if you got little kids around, maybe they'll get a kick out of it. I might get the Optimus if I see it for my nephew, just cuz. And also for kids, there is apparently a new Evergreen Sting Attack Bumblebee, which is a simplified Cyberverse Ultimate Class Bumblebee. So if you're looking for a big, chunky Transformer for little kids, there's an option. But yeah. Next up, over on the Transformers G1 fan group, a user, Nathan Baloney, got this in hand. This is that very, very limited Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime. And 1 out of 40. And this was from that Hong Kong event, just showing this thing off. So this guy, Nathan, definitely has a grail, just showing off all the paint on that 86 battle-damaged Optimus Prime. So we will all live vicariously through Nathan. I would not be that brave to do the Skybound thing with like a figure where there's only 40 of them in existence. But there you go. If you're interested in seeing some actual pictures of this thing, not, convention pictures, there you go. Next up, we got a look at some new YOLO Park figures. This is the Wave 2 of the AMK Mini G1 series. And let's get these loaded up here. I don't know why it's not loading up here. We can always go over to I think their website here. You can get these on the website. I think the whole set is $50. Let's see if it'll load now. Will it not load? Will any of these load? That's strange. Let's reload the page. Just don't drink every time I say load. Oh, what's going on with my internet here? There we go. So in this wave, we've got Rodimus Unicronus, we've got Blue Streak, we've got Cliffjumper RC, regular Hot Rod, Jazz, Hound, and Prowl. So there you go. And I know we also have the Audley stuff out as well, but I know there are a lot of people that like YOLO Park. And I think these look pretty good. I'd be more interested in blockies myself at this point, but again, like for what you pay with these and what you get, alternate hands and accessories, and you just want to have a small collection, you don't want to do legends, these would look great with city bots. There you go. That's what's in Wave 2. Now in the blockies front, we get a good look at the Galaxy version Wave 8, the One Shall Fall wave. And this one's pretty exciting. We've got, this is the one with the Unicron head in it. So we've got a new Optimus Prime. We've got Metroplex. And we've got Hot Rod, Null. We've got Blitzwing. This interesting Prime dying. Got Sludge, Shrapnel. So, and these little arc sets are really cool too. I do really like that Unicron head, to be honest. I wish they did it a bit bigger, and I wish you could just buy it on its own, because I would totally just put the I'm sure it's probably about the same size as the Unicron head for the HasLab, but I would totally just have that sitting out as my Unicron head. Blockies also is doing an Action Edition Transformers 1 Optimus Prime. It's 18 centimeters tall. And this is going to be releasing this year, I believe. And just like the other Action Editions, it's got all the LEDs. And I think this looks pretty damn good, to be honest. So, I'm assuming this will probably be in and around 40 or less. Probably less, considering it looks like it doesn't come with all that much. But yeah, there you go. If you're interested in getting yourself a nice little rendition of a non-transforming Optimus Prime, you can get one from Blockies. On the higher end of things, Killer Body has a really, really high scale Transformers Frenzy. This is the MRP2, and I think the first one was Shrapnel, or not Shrapnel, Scalpel from Revenge of the Fallen. But yeah, this is let's see. Let me see how tall this is. It's 195 millimeters. So let's see, 195. So it's not a big figure. It's about 8 inches tall. So it's going to be tiny. It's not going to be real scale. But it's very, very expensive. $757 for this. So definitely not one that I would ever get. But it looks like a very Hot Toys style figure. But it's got 60 points of articulation. The lights from the eyes are magnetically controlled. It's got like breathing mode, so it's got like some animatronics in there. You know, apparently it says authentic golden style rivets, but yeah, I think you're really just kind of paying for the electronics and the paint job. And there they show it next to the the Megatron head, and there's their Scalpel. Scalpel was interesting because he was life size, but yeah. For what they're charging for Frenzy here, they could have done a life-size one. You know, I'm sure that market would have existed. To like a 4-foot one. But there you go. If you've got a lot of money you don't know what to do with, there's that. And lastly, this is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. But have you ever wanted to smell like a Transformer? Well, you can now get from Fairy Tale Perfume in Japan, officially licensed G1 perfumes. And again, I have no idea what these smell like. Not really something, and I don't know what's going on with TFW here tonight. Why it's failing to load, but you know, these are on average about like $30 to $50, standard perfume prices. But yeah, they're doing these G1 style perfumes, and these do not look very good at all. Like, I mean, this one's it's a perfume with Optimus Prime tampergraphed on there and a little keychain. Yay! Same thing with Megatron. Like this Crimzeek one, this looks like something that somebody at a convention would make for, you know, an eighth of the price. You know, the missed opportunity with this Energon one. If they'd made it look like an Energon cube, there would be people that would be interested. I mean, yeah, you know, props to them for at least making it pink. You know, Autobot and Decepticon ones. A Matrix of Leadership diffuser. So these are all just really silly. I don't think worth the price at all, but you know, hey, it's a thing. It's a thing that exists. So before we get into the third-party stuff for the evening and we wrap things up, let's go ahead and catch up with chat here. And let's see what we got. Princeton saying, all we can do is just ride it out and hope it will get better. That's where I'm at with this situation, to be honest with you, my friend. T saying, they do not care about us. No, they don't care about us because they have not looked at any of the unintended consequences here. And yeah, Mario saying this is so unreal. And T saying, save your money up. And Kentucky saying, you will definitely wait with that Pulse Premium. Yes, I will wait with Pulse Premium. In fact, as a kind of a precautionary thing, I did pre-order the Optimus Machina Predaking over there, simply because I'm like, well, if this price goes out of control and I get FOMO and I decide to sell my Feral Rex to pay for the thing, at least I'm locked in, because Pulse Premium will not, you know, up the prices at all. Like, once you're locked in for a pre-order, you're locked in for a pre-order. And I'm like, I really wish I just pre-ordered Rat Trap over there, but you know, hindsight is 2020. I feel like eventually stuff will blow over. Eventually I will get Rat Trap, and hopefully next month when Rat Trap comes out, he's not ungodly expensive. You know, I feel like he'll maybe hit Agabus. I know Hanny's got some trading deals going on, distribution deals going on. Being optimistic, but we'll see how it all plays out. I feel bad for anybody wanting that Optimus Machina Lost Light Rodimus, because that's probably going to get hit in all this, and that was already marked up way more than it needed to be. We got my dude Boss Hog coming in saying, "Oi, good to see you, Boss Hog. Hope you're having a good night, friend." Mario is saying, not really into the fan vote, not really crazy about it. Like, it doesn't really do what the fans think's ever going to happen. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like they just kind of look for an excuse. They have a wild idea. They're like, well, can we engage the fans and make them want this because we made them think they were involved? And yeah, that's why I think if they I don't know, if they do anything, it'll probably be a repaint. And Mario's saying, I mean, it's not a bad resculpt what they're doing with the recent Lio convoy to make them the Lion mode accurate to Beast Wars 2 anime. Yeah, and I think the thing is that makes that one interesting is that the Masterpiece one really isn't fun. The Masterpiece one's a pain in the butt to transform. The Siege one, or sorry, not the Siege one, the Legacy one is fun, but the sculpt was bad. So I think with the 40th one, they're just like trying to like meet it in the middle, do a better sculpt. And I really do think that this 40th one is probably going to look really good next to the upcoming Age of the Primes Big Convoy. So I feel like when Big Convoy comes out, this guy's going to be really sought after. And I also hope it means they're going to make Galvatron, especially since we've got Big Convoy and Magmatron. Lio Convoy, well, where's Beast Wars the second Galvatron? So, yeah. All right, let's wrap stuff up with our third-party news. And first up, we get one that it's one I want. I really want this one. It pains me that they're doing a chase variant for this because I got the regular release of Drift. And I really, really want him with the alternate head. I want this to be my IDW Drift. But after seeing it in the red, I really, really want the red. Because I think the red just pops. So this is from a TFW member, Keck23K, sharing a picture, the picture set of the Chase variant with the red translucent plastic. And I got to say, this looks really, really, really good. Really, really good. So I may roll the dice when Dojo gets him in. But there he is compared to the original release. And I like the way that alt mode looks with the spoiler, especially knowing that spoiler turns into a gun. So I really like the way that red looks on the windshield. Again, it wouldn't be the end of the world if I got it and I got the black windshield, but I think that looks so much better with the red, especially compared to the first release. You can see the new, how the new front looks on it, new front bumper. So there's definitely a lot of mold changes with this versus the first release. So yeah, there you go. If you're curious what that Chase variant looked like or some direct comparisons with the original mold, there you go. I don't know why that didn't pop up, but we've got from Magic Square, Unique Toys, their Age of Extinction Stinger. I don't know why we can't get this open here. There we go. Okay, the magnifying glass. So over on Magic Square's website for $100, you can get the Unique Toys Red Destroyer, which is their take on a masterpiece scale Age of Extinction Stinger. He's available now. We get some production photos here showing off the articulation and how those work on the back. I did pick one up, so hopefully in a couple of weeks I've got him. The arm blades look like they might be reused from their Dino. I really can't tell. I wouldn't be shocked if they did. But this looks really close to like what we saw in the movie, and you can see here. I mean, these really do look like the same arm blades, but you get the blasters, you get the shurikens, and yeah. I don't think we've seen these blade weapons before either. And he also has his missile pods in his alt mode. There he is next to their Galvatron, scaling pretty good. I believe that Galvatron was called Nero. And the back is super, super clean. I'm willing to bet that this guy probably transforms a lot like their Dino, and I wouldn't be surprised if he winds up being a partial retool. So, I forget what Age of Extinction Stinger transformed into. I'm checking. I'm consulting. I'm like, yeah, this one's driving me nuts. What did he turn into? And did anybody even license the vehicle? Oh, the Pagani Hyra is what he turned into, and I think this is actually his alt. And I'm not a big car guy either, but I think this alt mode is pretty close to like what you saw in the movie, if not spot on. I have compared some pictures of the robot mode, and there are a couple things that are off in the chest, but it's not to the degree that their mud flap and skids were. I think really it's some green lights missing in the chest, which is kind of a bummer, considering Unique Toys normally does a lot with their paint. But I see these panels in here, and I'm wondering if that's why. And I also won't be shocked if they end up retooling this into an Age of Extinction Bumblebee pretty quickly. Next up, wrap things off. Princeton say he turned into a car. Yes, he did turn into a car. We get a look at DNA Designs' next tease, and this looks to be a set for the Age of the Primes Alpha Trion, giving him a cape. At least that's what it appears. It looks like he's getting a sword and a cape. So anytime we get these silhouettes, we know by next week we'll have the full-on reveal. And Age of the Primes Alpha Trion has been out in Singapore, so I'm sure they've had time to work with it. And then also, looks like we're going to be getting an extensive kit for the Timelines Optimus Prime, which I'm curious to see what all they do with this, because the train mode on that Prime is pretty weak. So I'm curious if it's going to turn into a base, if it's going to make the robot bigger. If it makes the robot bigger, then he's going to be out of scale with Megatron. But I'm sure it'll probably function more like a trailer and probably have like a repair bay or, you know. But you know, cool stuff coming from DNA Designs. Let me go back and make sure I didn't miss something, because I sometimes when I pull stuff up on the Facebook groups, I'm like, you know, it'll close out or do something odd. I think I got it all, but yeah, I definitely did. I just had one open, so yeah, that does take us to the end of our third-party coverage for the night. Though, okay, yeah, no, that's just a reissue. It looks like Model Fans Alliance, the Toy World RC, is getting a Well, we'll share this one out. This comes courtesy of TM Reviews. This was an early RC third-party attempt. And again, this was done by Toy World. This is coming back out from Model Fans Alliance, and apparently they're updating the chest, waist, and ankles on this. There's a lot of good RC options anymore. I think that the MMC one is probably my favorite to mess with and transform. A lot of people don't like the official Masterpiece one, but I do. But yeah, this will probably be on the cheaper side. I mean, when this first came out, it was pretty cheap. I'll be curious to see what the alt mode winds up looking like, because they don't have any more pictures here. But I mean, the bot mode does look a bit better from what I remember. I'm curious if they updated the face as well, though the head was always a bit small on her. But you know, if anybody doesn't have an RC in their Masterpiece collection yet and just wants one for their IDW display, since she's got swords, if you're doing Masterpiece IDW, there is an option for you, but no pricing on it. And I bet it's probably going to be about $50-$60 shipped, to be honest. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. So as I mentioned, if you liked tonight's episode, make sure you hit that like button, because it does help me out in the algorithm. And if you're not already subscribed, hopefully tonight is the night that I earn your subscription. If you aren't watching us live here, leave a comment. I do check the comments and respond to them all. So if you got anything, any commentary, if you're feeling any way about this de minimis exception, or have any thoughts or feelings on it, or you're excited about anything we covered tonight, be it, you know, PulseCon potentially going away. If you're going to Steel City in December, let me know. Drop a comment. I always read them, and I'd love to hear from you. And if you do subscribe, make sure you ring that notification bell, because I'm going to have content coming out this weekend. As mentioned, Lance and I will be filming. We'll be having a toy hunt on here, which will be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to going and showing him all time, as well as maybe we'll stroll through, local Target and Walmart while we're out and about. And also too, I'd like to get some footage of the meetup this time. I'm not going to be stressing about people coming or going. It's just going to be what it is. If it's a small group, it's a small group. If it's a big group, it's a big group. But we're just going to get together, have a good time and mess with some figures. So again, if you are in the Pennsylvania, DC, Maryland, Virginia areas, or if you really feel like taking a drive, we're going to be at Bar Louie in White Marsh, Maryland from 4 p.m. Eastern up to 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to come by, just bring yourself and have a good time. You're welcome to bring any figures you might want to, show off, or, anything you're looking to sell or trade. You're more than welcome to do so. But again, all you have to do is bring yourself a good attitude and have a good time. And with that, we're going to wrap it up here. Hope you all have a great rest of the week ahead. And also, too, we're going to be doing that second part of the Beast Wars ranking, the tier listing. We've got that all ready to go. We'll be doing that live from my collection room. I've actually got a PC set up down there. So we'll be in a different spot for that tier listing. So that'll be an interesting change of scenery. So I'll be live in the collection room for that, which will be a bit different. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up here. Hope you guys have a great rest of the week ahead of you. And I will see you all on the next one. Until then, 0 out.